Welcome back to Crystal Clear. I'm Vox, and Cartoon Network has released a brand new Steven Universe short for the Dove Self-Esteem Project, all about Stevonnie. Now, for those of you who are unaware, Cartoon Network has been working with Dove on a campaign all about self-esteem using the one show that's best suited for the job, Steven Universe. These shorts, in an art style that's very reminiscent of Save the Light, usually focus on different character traits short. We've had one with Amethyst and Jasper, one all about Peridot, one featuring Smoky Quartz and Sardonyx, a full-on musical number, and more recently, one that's all about Bismuth and Pearl after Bismuth's return in the episode Maid of Honor. Now, I find this short pretty cool because it's jam-packed with Easter eggs and references to not just the series, but who Stevonnie is as a person. I think by now most fans recognize that Stevonnie is non-binary, but this short goes a little bit more in depth. Some things are blunt, some things are subtle, but they're all important to discuss. Rebecca Sugar herself is directly involved with these shorts and the self-esteem campaign as a whole, and is non-binary herself. Although yes, I believe she doesn't mind she/her pronouns to refer to her as. Ultimately, we should take the revelations in the short as law, even if the actual event is non-canon, or in this case, a weird alternate universe where the Crystal Gems are shooting self-esteem commercials for a soap company. Stranger Things 3 have happened. So naturally, we're going to break down this promo for all the little details, callbacks, and everything you may have missed. Pretty straightforward, let's dive in. Also, real quick before we dive in, usually videos like these get into the intricacies of gender, sexuality, and all sorts of things, usually bring out the worst of people in the comment section. Not exactly sure how they find these videos, so if you could please just throw a like. I know I'm asking at the beginning of the video, but still, it would definitely help out in the long run. First things first, Stevonnie introduces themselves using an app that is clearly modeled after Instagram. Everything about it but the name itself is involved. Stevonnie's account is simply titled Stevonnie Account, but something interesting is that if you enter the username or any username that pops up in this promo, a real Instagram account will pop up, some with the names of the characters and some with the names Sarah or Dave. Notice how these all have no profile picture, no bio, and low to no followers at the time of recording this. The reason being, I assume these were all made by social media people at Cartoon Network itself. They secured the username, even if they didn't properly name it after the character, and maybe they even plan to use these accounts in character in the future, which I think would be the obvious plan. I mean, why else would you secure these names? Aside from possible superfans taking the account names and then trying to pass it off as if the account is actually associated with Cartoon Network. Yeah, I can see how that can get problematic. The font for the Instagram text in the promo is Dosis. You may recognize the font from our own thumbnails and content, but it's also found in Steven Universe itself, as the secondary font found on title cards and credits. Taking a glance at Stevonnie's bio, we actually learn something new about the fusion. Going in order though, we first see that they simply have "I am an experience" for the first line, referring to Garnet's impactful speech to Newborn Fusion and Alone Together. That's become a staple of the franchise and its fan base.
You are an experience. Make sure you're a good experience.
Reading the second line of their bio, we learn that Stevonnie is confirmed to be intersex, non-binary, and likes to be referred to with they/them pronouns. The new thing here is the confirmation of being intersex. Now, intersex is different from being non-binary. Intersex people are born with some biological characteristics that are considered female and others that are considered male. Intersex infants are assigned a legal sex, but sometimes when they grow up, their gender doesn't match the sex selected for them. Some intersex people have ambiguous genitalia, or internal sex organs, such as a person with both ovarian and testicular tissues. Other intersex people have a combination of chromosomes that is different than XY for male and XX for female, like XXY. And some people are born with what looks like totally male or totally female genitals, but their internal organs or hormones released during puberty don't match up. This makes sense for Stevonnie, as a fusion of two organic beings of different genders and sex. Steven is a male with a male anatomy, while Connie is a girl with female anatomy. Intersex is a natural conclusion for Stevonnie that was simply never addressed before. As for being non-binary, for anyone unfamiliar, non-binary is a spectrum of gender identities that are not exclusively masculine or feminine. Identities that are outside the gender binary. Non-binary people may identify as having two or more genders, having no gender, moving between genders, or having a fluctuating gender identity, or being third gender or other gendered, a category that includes those who do not place a name to their gender. Now, this is all research from other sources, so if I got anything wrong, please feel free to correct me in the comments down below. At this point, gender's in the script so much that it doesn't look like a real word. But yes, it's still something very new, so it's natural to need time to understand all of it, as long as you're being respectful to those who identify. They're just as valid as anyone else. Now, all of these Instagram-y posts featured in the promo are all references to previous events and episodes in the series. The first is Stevonnie rocking the jacket of Doug Maheshwaran and a backdrop identical to Beach City Drift. That's when Steven and Connie fuse into Stevonnie to race Kevin using Greg's new car. Everything in this promo, from the lighting to Stevonnie themselves, is spot on to that episode. Notice that one of the likes is by OG Roofire fan, Garnet. Roofire is a ship name in the fandom for Ruby and Sapphire, although you imagine their ship name would just be Garnet, but that would get kinda weird and confusing. By labeling herself as the OG Roofire fan, Garnet is acknowledging she naturally is the first one to support Ruby and Sapphire's relationship, as she is their relationship. She supports herself and everything she stands for. It's a cute, clever username. The next post is a selfie of Stevonnie with the caption, "Dance Party!" This is calling back to Stevonnie's debut, Alone Together, where Stevonnie went to a rave Sour Cream was DJing at. They had an anxiety attack, got harassed by Kevin, and unfused after making a point to the creep. As Stevonnie continues to discuss the positive influence of social media, the next post of the fusion features the non-binary flag, stating, "We deserve to shine," referencing not only the previous short and song of the same name, but the true slogan of this campaign. No matter who you are, who you identify as, whatever struggles life is throwing at you, you're still someone who's valid and worthy to be recognized as well, a normal human being, just like everyone else. Stevonnie may be an amalgamation of two kids, but they're still their own person. Their existence isn't harming anyone. They shouldn't have to hush up and keep to themselves if they aren't promoting hate. For anyone out there who happens to be intersex, non-binary, or a part of the LGBT community, shine on. Your existence is not a crime, it's not a sin, it's nothing wrong. And I think that's something important to be said. You listening to this right now, you rock and keep shining on. This post is also liked by Renegade Pearl, with 3s instead of E's, the account that belongs to our own Pearl, being labeled as the terrifying Renegade Pearl during the Gem War, as seen in episodes such as The Answer. Stevonnie's next post is of the Intersex flag, promoting Intersex Awareness Day on the actual days observed internationally, October 26. To get into detail, October 26, 1996 marks the anniversary of the first public demonstration by intersex people in the United States. Members of the now defunct Intersex Society of North America and their allies arrived in Boston, Massachusetts, at the annual conference of the American Academy of Pediatrics. They demonstrated and shared their pain in a very public way, denouncing non-consensual intersex surgeries and demanding the medical industry take notice. Doctors dismissed the activists as a vocal minority in a 1997 New York Times article covering the intersex action. Today, intersex people and their allies are following in their footsteps, organizing in cities around the United States and around the world. Stevonnie's caption reads, "Intersex rights are human rights," and the post is liked by Guitar_DOD, likely Greg, his username serving as a reference to the episode Shirt Club, where Steven made the Guitar Dad shirt for Greg's guitar lesson business. That episode has one of my favorite gags in the show with the t-shirt cannon, period. Stevonnie then begins to showcase some videos on their profile. First, a sample of their training with Pearl that calls back to mindful education, which reveals Steven and Connie's individual training over time has evolved into training together with Pearl, the two getting more familiar with combat in their state as a fusion. The next video is taken during the events of Jungle Moon, where Stevonnie was stranded after a space shootout with Emerald, where apparently they were ambushed by the giant bird block monster more than once prior to stumbling upon the diamond base. Stevonnie shifts gears to the friends they follow on the app. Garnet meditating surrounded by butterflies, which is a clear nod to Here Comes a Thought from Mindful Education. This post is liked by Connie M_portfolio and Rio_amethyst8xm. Connie M portfolio is clearly Connie's account, and it makes sense her Instagram account would be more of a portfolio with occasional personal posts. Connie is someone who maps out her future, especially her academic future. For any possible opportunities, even if it is a hobby that could branch into profession like photography, she would would definitely use social media to compile that into a concise and accessible manner. As for real Amethyst 8XM, what I find neat about this isn't that she's using her full gem name to stick out, but logically, that makes sense. Like, let's say all the Amethysts from the zoo create an Instagram account. If they were all just Amethyst, that would get hectic pretty fast. Amethyst identifying by her cut and facet helps her stick out as the Amethyst we all know and love. It makes me think that one day, all the other Amethysts will have a social media presence, and I would kill to follow each and every last one of them. Focusing on Connie a little bit, we passed by her portfolio account, which does seem to focus on photography, the more artsy side of things, with the gems playing karaoke, the caption reading, "Haven't you noticed I'm a star?" This is a reference to a short from the second batch that released during the beginning of season 4, where the gems are all singing karaoke. The song being "Haven't You Noticed I'm a Star?" Connie's filming the entire thing, but at the end, Steven invites her to partake in the big finish. Unfortunately, there's a bit of rain on the Pride Parade, with Kevin himself commenting, "Cool, I guess," with an eye-rolling emoji that suits his own skin tone. Man, I wish real-life emojis advanced that far, but I guess I'll be dating myself with that statement eventually, knowing Apple. I think it's funny that Kevin is expressing hate on Connie's page instead of Stevonnie's, as he's recognized Steven and Connie as two separate individuals from Stevonnie, so he'll just be passive-aggressive to either Steven or Connie, but never to Stevonnie directly. I guess Stevonnie's too cool in his eyes for that nonsense, which they are, but it makes me wonder why Steven, Connie, and Stevonnie didn't just block Kevin on their accounts from the beginning. I guess Steven really does have a knack for redemption, even if not everyone deserves a second chance. Kevin's comment throws Stevonnie off their game to the point they confess they made their page just for the ad shoot, which yeah, I don't know how often they're going to use social media fuse together. Although at the same time, fusions do deserve their own account. But Stevonnie digs into how overwhelming social media can be, how they don't need it to know they're great. So many of us put so much value into social media and the numbers game that we can lose sight of what matters. At the end of the day, it's all about loving who you are, not if the internet loves you. Haters, back off. Stevonnie tosses the tablet, which lands on the ground, to a video message from Garnet's account. A message that features Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl cheering them on, illustrating that, even if there's tons of toxicity on the internet, don't I know it, there's positivity too. It's just drowned out by negativity because that's what sells and gets the click. The mob mentality that we need to drown out in order to see the good that remains. The key is to use social media carefully, responsibly. It can be a lot of fun, but it's tricky, which is why nowadays I just retweet memes. Now, something I noticed is that they haven't switched over to the designs from Change Your Mind yet, which is weird to me as the previous promo with Bismuth featured her new reformation after Maid of Honor. There's plenty of branding that can be found with the characters and their renders after Change Your Mind as well. It may have been a timing thing, maybe they didn't know when the short would be finished in correlation to season 5 concluding, maybe it was in production before other shorts, so they just played it safe. Still, updating these promotionals to reflect the new looks of the gems feels important, just so we as an audience are reminded that the series isn't over, that this world is continuing off screen, and that the consequences of the episodes stick in and out of the series. This doesn't undermine anything at all, but I thought it was worth mentioning. But as always, I want to hear what you guys think. What was your biggest takeaway from the promo? Was there anything we missed? Please let us know in the comments below. And as always, you can tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids, and for my own thoughts or my own memes, you can find me at AutricVox. And hey, be sure to give us a follow over at Instagram too, at Roundtable Vids and AutricVox there as well. Help with Roundtable Girl by either becoming a member of this channel or supporting us over at Patreon. Link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. AutricVox signing out.